So I think, you know, it just seemed a bit coincidental. There's that land, and I've been wondering kind of about it. He didn't say it, but it kind of felt like he went, yeah, we've noticed this has become your more, hasn't it? And it's funny, he was talking about domains earlier in the day. This kind of thing about people's domains, that he thought that's how the ancients lived. So, what am I saying? I'm saying, yeah, he kind of went, yeah, sounds like you should probably be there. Sounds like that's where you should, where you're heading. Absolute pea super here too. I was just having a wander around this. It's not a field actually. It goes. I was looking on Google Maps yesterday. I thought that the fields. I thought that there was a boundary. Like that little lane comes to an end, and then there's that little open patch, sort of parking place. And I thought that then there's a kind of bit of a bank up, and I thought there was a boundary running along, but there isn't. This bit of land actually goes like all the way down, a long way. It's scrub. So I actually think, yeah, I don't know. It might be sort of national parks or something. It stretches all the way around the bank. It doesn't look like it's ever been filmed. I was just looking, and there's these big boulders, and there was one particular. I can get back up there. Where was it? Here. These bluebells. Yeah, here. Can't see it very well. But there's a sort of portal. See, there's a big. It's covered in ivy. A big flat stone standing up there. There's another stone, big boulder there, flat boulder. One standing up there, and there's this big flat stone here, and this other big boulder on this side. It's kind of like the entrance to a cave. There's a feeling of symmetry to it, maybe not, but something about it. It kind of speaks rather of arranged boulders. And then there's that big one over there. Make a nice entrance to a cave. Those three boulders. I found him. Hi. Well. Hi. There we go. There's his toilet. Yep. And I'm just 50 yards from that car parking space. So that's, yeah, and there's a tub next to it. It's definitely his toilet. I thought it was a wire thing, but it's not. It's something, he's made it himself. I thought it was a wire reel, but it's not. That's his toilet. And so he must have been living in that space up there. So there we go. I think that is all the proof I need. This is something I've been thinking for a long while, like a cave, you know, but I've mentioned it. But that's it. The only visible sign you have then is, well, you might have a chimney stack coming out, but put that in the middle of a bush and nobody will notice it. Unless they walk right past. And otherwise all you have is your path. That's the thing which gives it away, is that you have I wouldn't be able to help but create a path as I walk in and out. Unless I take a different route every time, but even then you can't help but create somewhere that looks like it's been walked on. You can't really disguise that for any length of time. And down here, even in the winter, it wouldn't really be visible when there's no leaves on the trees. It'd be nice to have a cave, like a cave. And I get the impression, well, yeah, you can kind of see. I don't think anybody comes here. So there we go. And I've also found there was one of these trees planted down there with a plastic. There was plastic around the bottom of it. I found just a little bit of it left. So so I'm guessing he planted all these little trees and then passed away. Is that elder? Is that an elder? Must be elder. It smells funny. It doesn't smell like elderflower. It smells like poo. It does. It's weird. It's got a weird like Copydex glue smell to it. Nice. Kind of somehow quite intentionally looking little arrangements of stone around here. Like that. These two stones stood up. It's kind of... There's some amazing boulders down there and stuff. I've shown you some, but it goes on. I'm sure that's where this standing stone come from. That's down in the field down there. That was quite a scramble back up that bank. Sure, I'm looking pretty wild. Got the old heart beating. But yeah. So there we go. Proof of the pudding, I think. And so I'm guessing well, maybe not, but I would guess when Ian Redmond, the elephant gorilla man, turned up, he would have been down there planting trees or something in his... He maybe had a shelter down there, might not have been up at the top, I don't know. Or maybe he'd just died and somebody came up and said that to him, I don't know. You see here we have a row of stakes. A row of old stakes. Strange. It's very strange, that is. Just like a very vague circle, oval of stakes. What's that about? That's weird. What are you doing there? That's very strange. That's a really random. It's just like some drunk man's tried building a fence. That's the most illogical fence I've ever seen. I wonder if I can roll one of these bolts aside, if there'll be a cave under there. Sorry, trees, That's the other thing. Could have been. Or maybe he didn't own the land at all, you know, maybe he wasn't the owner. Maybe he was just, maybe he was just a kind of hobo that set up there. One way or another, it says, you know, there's a kind of tradition of it. So that's interesting. You know, it kind of says, you know, it's already happened before, so... And he was obviously there for a while. Look at this, right? See this big boulder, right? It's a big, starts here, you can't see under there because it starts here, big face, runs all the way across here to there. It's about 6 meters wide, right? Look here, just notice this, just been uncovering. See here, see that, how it's cut in. And then there's a crack running down there. And this side, it's cut in. And there's a fissure running all the way up there. All the way up there. Then there's a bit of a lintel stone. See that? Is this actually a secret doorway? Is it actually a secret doorway? Yeah. Is it? Is that actually a secret door? I mean, it looks like it. The way it's cut in, and it just slots in there. And then the stone's on top of it. I mean, is it me, or is that a bit strange? I found a door to the fairy kingdom. Maybe I found Arthur's grave. Is it a tomb? What is it? Or is it... That's very strange. It's very strange for a natural formation, the way it's cut in like that. It's very smooth, that. Very smooth. Very smooth indeed. In fact, is that mortar? Yeah. And it feels like it's only about 4 inches thick, that slab, at the top at least. Like it doesn't feel like that doesn't look like one stone's broken off and it's sat there. There's something, doesn't feel like a natural, like that wouldn't have, that's not this. That's a much thicker stone. This is really thin at the top. I found like a proper ancient tomb here. What have I done? It's weird. That's weird. There's a bit on the left here. The way that kind of curves up. And it kind of does look, but it's just, that's just weird though. It's weird the way it sits in there. It's just very strange. And there is this is a crack all the way up here. With this smooth surface. Like that door's been swinging open. When the fairies come out. There's a thing. There's a thing. See, it's perfect for a location for it as well. It's just facing that nab, Dinas Island, which a local historian, a fellow who travels around all the stone sites, who's quite an interesting fellow, he describes that as the serpent's head, the dragon's head. It's facing that doorway's just looking straight out onto that. It's a hell of a place to put and then just up here, there's a little sacred grove, right? It's a lovely little sacred grove just up here. I was looking for the secret cave up here. Well, I was thinking about creating myself a secret cave in this boulder. Like here. Doesn't work on the camera, but there's a great big flat stone here. And then you've got that. And then these stones here, and it creates this lovely kind of sacred amphitheatre place. This little dell looking out. Right. And then just down here, we've got our at the top of the cliff. We've got our secret cave entrance. I need a pointy stick to see whether there's a stone under this ground on top. But yeah, it kind of curves over in a nice little mound sculpted out of the hill. And of course, just down there we've got a buried pyramid. The bay. It's down there. We've got Carrick Curtan. 5 miles that way inland. 5 miles that way or so. Pentre Efan. Carrick Sampson. Just on the other side of that sprit. Near those two little knobs there. Those are dolmens over there. We've got Sally Bluestone, Stonehenge, just quarry just near us. Indeed, we've got here we've got the Tomb of the King. An island appears over there, over the other side of the sea. And all the mountains of Wales appear across that horizon. I mean, I was feeling, you know, it's just a perfect location. Well, I think I found what I'm going to be doing. Just imagine if I open it and there's some, it's like a there's Arthur in there. Excalibur, might be Excalibur in there. A little bit nervous actually. It's a bit weird that. It's a bit weird. So yeah, just to say, if you don't hear from me again, I've been taken into the I've been taken under the fairy mound. If you don't hear from me again. It does, yeah, it just... It really does give the impression that that's cut stone. It's very strange to have a... because the grain of that stone's running that way. This is the face of the slab. The grain's running that way. Very strange to have such a smooth. I mean, maybe you get it, but it's very strange to have, and it isn't mortar. You see it kind of cracks away on this edge, cracks away, and then you've got this laser-like precision. But yeah, it's like it's. That just doesn't look like a natural break across the end grain of the stone at all. I mean, that's some weird... This stone's been... I mean, you know... That stone's been robbing backwards and forwards. That just makes no flipping sense. But yeah, a completely... Rather amazingly, I just walked down the hill. Things are developing fast here. I just walked down the hill and yeah. There are several facades of boulders on the side of that hill. Great facades of stone. And I've had this dream alongside this Dorman dream. I've had a dream of digging a cave. I thought of it a few years ago. I thought with all the housing prices and all of this, the perfect place to go underground. Nobody knows. secret place. And I just walked down the hill, and in the face of this boulder I hadn't looked at before, in the face, covered in ivy, this great long piece of Preseli bluestone, and I was looking beneath the ivy, and there, cut the bluestone, this great plate of bluestone on its side, there, sunken into it suddenly, a third of the way along, is what appears to be a doorway. It's most curious. The bluestone, the door is sunken into this plate. The plate is cut in half, and where the end grain of the stone comes to an end, it is cut smooth, beautifully smooth. And this, what appears almost to be a door, is set in about 10 inches, a foot, back from the face of this plate. And so I thought, well, there we are. Here is the cave I have been imagining on this hillside. For I did imagine it. It felt like a cave should be there, and lo and behold, there one is. And I will show you. Perhaps not. I don't know whether I should tell anybody. And so I am excavating this doorway, and I'm going to see if I can open it. And perhaps there will be the grotto I imagined within. And if that is indeed the case, it will be the strangest thing, for I have literally imagined that cave in that exact place ever since stepping foot here, and the strange sequence of events which has led me to arrive here at the end of my travels. I feel like I might be about to open the tomb of the king. Absurd though it may sound. And I'm recording this because perhaps I will eventually manage, if I can, move this, what appears to be this portal stone blocking this doorway. I may move it and find a face of soil behind it. And then I will simply not publish this. But there is a chance I may pull back that stone, and indeed, as I rather suspect, there will be an opening behind it. And I will go inside with my miner's lamp, and we shall find what is within. Is that not the most... And if so, that will be the most astonishing thing, for it feels for all the world like I have practically conjured that into being through my own imaginings. And if indeed there is a cave there, then for me, I will know, finally, without a shadow of a doubt, that there is more to this world than meets the eye, and that the mystical is indeed real. Well, as you can see here, this is the ground level before. So that is about 8 inches. And going very slowly, looking out, I've just got nothing but little shards of stone in there. But I've hit hardened, I've taken all the loose kind of peaty soil off, and I've hit this is hard, hard pile of soil that hasn't been moved for a long time. So, and how much deeper does it go? Now the question is, you see, the question is, if this is in fact like a dolmen or something of the sort, which is strange. I mean, this is indeed a cut, and I struggle to see how it can't be, and I don't think I'm doing a Lost Ancient High Technology on. It seems very strange. The grain is, you can see the grain is run this way out of this stone. You can see how these fissures across here, the grain's running along this way, so it's very curious. At least yeah. So to get a vertical cut, like a smooth vertical cut like that, seems very, very strange. Dylan Aildon, the second wave, son of the sea. Look, there's a plate. Oh, I have to keep this light really low because I don't want to light the top. Look, there's a plate here. Goes all the way across here. Yeah. See? And look. That's under the door. It goes under the door, I can feel it. It goes under there. It goes under. Is that worn? It's very slight. Is that worn? Is that edge slopes down? Is that wearing in the middle of the step? Is it? Damn! Is that a front edge of a step that's worn? But if it is a step, it hasn't been stepped on much, because no, it's not worn here. It's not worn here, it's got a jagged edge on it. So this hasn't been used as hasn't been a step that's been used a lot. If it is indeed an entrance. Oh. This is just bracken roots. I can see now. So So these two sides are sat atop the bottom plate, which is curious. That's unexpected. So the plate isn't set in the doorway. The plate's actually going in under here. Now whether it's cut in or whether it's laying under and then this has been placed on it after is another question. Unless, of course, it's just a natural, this is just a flat slab that's naturally been deposited here, and then these other bits with these flat, perfectly flat sides have just, you know, dumped themselves on top. But yeah, this edge, the edge is quite square, like the plate underneath falls away, so you've got a wider gap here narrowing up to the top, so it looks like this plate underneath is tilted down, but the bottom of the bottom of the door is quite square, and this is a sharp edge, properly sharp. Well, yeah, it's a sharp edge all the way along there, and this underneath feels perfectly smooth, like a saw cut piece of stone, similar to the sides under here. That feels not perfectly, but it feels very smooth, and again that's on the grains running that way, so curious. Got this very smooth edge on that side, on that underside. I can feel it's not a kind of thing like a saw cut, it's just not continuous, because there's unless that's a pebble. But, yeah, otherwise feels very smooth, and that edge very sharp. I don't think that's gonna, it's not gonna want to move. It's gonna, I think that it's gonna take some serious heaving to get that to move, I expect. Some serious heaving. I mean, got this far, has to be done. Has to be done. Yes. Do you remember me telling you about the dream I had of my home? The mound on the edge, on the top of the, with the sea beyond it, and I went in through a door and there was mossy stone inside, and I went through a little of the side door. There was like a great hall inside it, and I went through a little side door and there was a statue with three sandstone with three figures, and I've since learnt it looks very, very much resembled as a Celtic or possibly Germanic anyway. Sorry, they're checking me out. But yeah, three figures in procession. Then I went down this, then there was a stairway. I'm sure I described this to you. I went down a stairway, stone stairs, down into this kind of catacombs, and realised that with water on the floor, and I realised it was where all my ancestors were laying down. Near it's a doorway in this mound with the sea beyond. There's a nice little kind of feature on this side of the door. There's a can't quite see, but the stone rather nicely sort of kicks out at the edge to create a kind of buttress feel there, which is a rather nice feature. Natural, well, I would presume a natural piece of the stone. It bulges out there. But yeah, it's a nice little touch. I don't want to strip and lose all the moss. I don't want to just leave it. It's one of the things, they would do at these ancient sites is strip them right back. And there's hardly a blade of grass or anything to be seen. And for me, they're very much, I don't imagine I'd imagine that it's beautiful when moss and things grow over it. The kind of suburban, perfectly clean stone thing, it doesn't at all mix with me with these. It's the magic. It's the mossy stone. It just speaks of the ages. It's got a magic to it. So the kind of obviously it probably does have a slightly eats at the surface, but this is dolomite. But yeah, it would be a shame to clean all of that back and leave it just a bare rock face with a grass mound on top. So I'm trying to I'm trying to do as little as I can, just so that I can see what the stonework is underneath. Kind of, it's a beautiful mystical thing, all this. When it's covered in ivy, already done, but yeah, it'll all grow back. But yeah.
A-dee-doo, a-dee-doo, da-day, a-dee-doo, a-dee-day-day. He whistled and he sang till the greenwoods rang, and he won the heart of the lady. The gypsy rover come over the hill, down through the valley so shady. He whistled and he sang till the greenwoods rang, and he won the heart of the lady. A-dee-doo, a-dee-doo, da-day, a-dee-doo, a-dee-day. He whistled and he sang till the greenwoods rang, and he won the heart of the lady. She left her father's castle gate, she left her own young lover, she left her servants and her state to follow the gypsy rover. A-dee-doo, a-dee-doo, da-day, a-dee-doo, a-dee-day-day. He whistled and he sang till the greenwoods rang, and he won the heart of the lady. Her father saddled up his fastest steed, roamed the valleys all over, saw his daughter at great speed, and the whistling gypsy rover. A-dee-doo, a-dee-doo, da-day, a-dee-doo, a-dee-day-day. He whistled and he sang till the greenwoods rang, and he won the heart of a lady. He came at last to a mansion fine, down by the river Glady, and there was music and there was wine for the gypsy and his lady. Ah-dee-doo, ah-dee-doo, da-day, ah-dee-doo, ah-dee-day. He whistled and he sang till the greenwoods rang, and he won the heart of a lady. He is no gypsy, my father, she said, but Lord of these lands all over, and I will stay till my dying day with this whistling gypsy rover. Ah-dee-doo, ah-dee-doo, da-day, ah-dee-doo, ah-dee-day. He whistled and he sang till the greenwoods rang, and he won the heart of a lady. Ah-dee-doo, ah-dee-doo, da-day, ah-dee-doo, ah-dee-day. He whistled and he sang till the greenwoods rang, and he won the heart of a lady.
Egwethe pau pa pobed, egwethe pau pa pobed, egwethe pau pa pobed rian ma o hyd. Just been going along this other side, clearing a bit of the dead growth, and uncovered this boulder. This boulder comes along here, about getting on 3 meters, 270 or something maybe. And then in here, there are these beautifully placed they look to me, well, and then here there's a corner of another one. They look to me like some very nice bit of dry stone walling. So you've got the boulder coming to an end here, as far as I can see, unless I've missed a joint. The boulder's coming to an end here, coming down here, and we've got this little post. I've been keeping a very close eye out for ogham, but I can't see any at present on the corners of these stones. So yeah, then we've got this little post, and then this, it looks like, yeah, and there's not, I don't think, there's none there. So this comes down nicely round down to the to blend in with this curve. So it's making now a beautiful sort of curve. These stones, they carry the line of that on. Maybe this stone has actually dropped from up there. Perhaps. This one down here, it feels like, maybe not. But yeah, anyway, so it's basically stepping up here. There's one block in there. I don't know how far along it goes. It can't go along very far because there's the path up here. this down here. And then you've got these couple of little steps, look like they're nicely set blocks, blending in with the side of this facade. There's a conflict still in my mind. I mean, the conflict is that we've got this beautifully flat, this beautifully straight cut surface here with this, what I'm going to call a portal stone, and we've got the threshold, which is all which it's got a very mystical feel to it, but I've never, that, well, you see, here's the funny thing, in Stonehenge we've got the beautifully cut, dressed lintel stones, whatever they're called, but the lintels on top of the henges, top of the sarsen stones, with joints and everything, and for some very beautifully, obviously, and if that's whatever, 3000 BC or whatever, they were clearly capable. In that case, if we've got the dating right, if that's not later work, we've got the clear sign there of some very skilled craftsmen working that stone. And so it's not impossible. These they look like they've been abraded with an abrasive, perhaps. It's not impossible that these have been worked flat in a similar period. But I don't think it's deep enough to think, unless it's been uncovered perhaps before. But yeah, so we've got that, which I initially, when I found it, I thought maybe this was somewhere in the last 1,000 years. From the feel of that, either medieval or perhaps more recently some curious, some hermit or some, and it's been blocked up for some reason. And likewise, but then we've got these colossal megalithic facade, which speaks of a much more ancient work style, much more in keeping with something going on 5,000 years ago. So that's the conflict at the moment. It's this door, but that's it. It's not, and maybe it's the first one to be found, but it's not. Yeah, you do get nicely flattened surfaces in ancient work, but yeah, it's like you don't see that in the dolmens around here, for example, but maybe this was something very special. Or was there some wealthy fellow in the last couple of 100 years who's built it as a kind of folly? how to break your phone. Now, the question is, does it yes, it does. Yeah, that's all one piece. I'm wondering if this is across here and then this has been placed on top of it. Perhaps the way that's set back says perhaps it has been set on top of it there. Is there a question is there a crack down here? There's some loose shards in there, but try not to disturb them too much. But yes, it appears what have we got going on here? Again, it's all this very dark, peaty soil. I think it's, yeah. And just these little shards of the shattered off the stone. So it looks, I'll clean that out a bit more. It looks possible, at least possible, that these have been set, and then we've got this little bit of dry stone wall, kind of looking for vibe at the end. And we've got this great boulder in the middle, but it's coming up, and this on a separate line. This is very clearly on a separate line from the face. So it looks like this boulder, if this is natural, coming out of the ground, and this boulder has, yeah, there is a crack running up there. This boulder has been set on top here. Either by nature or by, I mean, if it was built, if that end has a more built feel, so maybe, you know, it's quite possible that this boulder was already here and that they've built that facade, cut the end off this boulder, put the that if this boulder was already here, potentially they've worked the end off it, created the door and this end of the facade, and then they've built on that bit. Or of course they might have shifted that in, placed that on top of this. If that boulder is buried deep, that's this top of the big boulder, place that in there. So I'm seeing a mixture of natural and worked, and this is quite a question mark whether that could very easily have been kind of the beginnings of it, and then they've built onto it, kind of thing. Yes. see here, actually, the place is just down there. Just that gorse bush there. That's the top of that big boulder, and then another 30 yards there's the portal the doorway. And here, just having a little look on my way over. See how these boulders, they're not naturally sat. They've got little wedges in there, but they're in a, see how it's kind of, obviously, but yeah, there we go, kind of standing up. Yeah, 2 more boulders. Again, edge on. And actually, I mean, very, very, very tentative. But there's another boulder here. That's one there, behind that gorse there. 1, 2, 3. That one's laying down. And one in there. One in there. Big flat one on its back there. Another one, big flat one. My eyes are deceiving me. They are deceiving me. Oh, here. It's a curious little arrangement. 2 little ones stood up, sunk it into the grass. So there's got 2 there, there somewhere, another one there, and then here. So you could, if you were feeling very, very brave. They do make a vague circle. See what I mean? I mean, I'd never thought about that before. I was just wondering. That was it. It's when I arrived here and I was thinking about kind of dolmens and caves. Just the way all those boulders are up on edge, it's just got this smell of, like they were messing about here. It's just got that feel, it's all very vague, but you kind of just look at it. There's a lot of it that you look at and you think, that's a funny way for a boulder to be sat. All of them kind of, a lot of them just, all on edge. You go, that's a bit funny, obviously. But yeah, it's just like, well, Why are there all these plates of stone on edge? Right. I've just been clearing this around here, and it just keeps getting more interesting. So before, we've got the portal stone, so to speak, call it, want a better word, the doorway. 1, 2, potentially 3, depending if those are the 2 stone. The facade built up in there, or creating a nice line along the top. And then, I didn't see before, but there's another smaller boulder on the end, again continuing the line, continuing the gentle downward drift, and slightly moving around the corner. There's another thinner, narrower boulder set on there, so this path was probably very likely built up with the water running down here. So there may be quite a large build-up of soil here, so that might be going down deeper. And then curiously, so we've got the front face here, the front facade. This boulder, like the others, this is about 8 to 10 inches wide. Well, 8 inches at this part. And then behind it, it's the front boulder, and then we've got a foot gap full of soil. Then we've got another boulder flat on their face, and another one flat there. So we've got a gap. Now has this front come forward, or has that gone back, or is that how it is? So, like, if there is a chamber in it, I think it's not impossible that they've built a facade, a sort of, the aesthetics facade, and then the interior, because I could feel there were 2 boulders in there. This wall was too deep, and so there is actually, is there is that the surface of a boulder going right across inside, or have we got another wall and this facade has been built kind of on the outside of it as a kind of separate feature? So on the interior we've got another wall, and that, so we've got this facade, and then behind it there's a curve, and that facade is kind of blocking the actual earth up there. I don't think it's the same on the other side. I'm going to have another look, have a rummage around. It's kind of a real thing. I don't, there's all this all this ivy, and I just don't want to leave it bare. It's so beautiful in the undergrowth, and I don't. But yeah, I'm just pulling out the kind of dead stuff at the minute, and doing a little bit of trimming of the ivy that was all coming off. So yeah, now you can see right from this end, a little boulder here coming right along under this, curving up right along the face. I'm afraid I can't get further away. And then this little wally section on this end as well, blending it down to the ground, blending the end of this boulder, sort of curving that down to the ground. So it is it's just a very nicely sort of organic yet facade. It's got a very nice feel to it, mix of raw and arranged stones, sort of, in that very mystical middle ground between the natural and the man-made, giving it that proper magical feel to me. There's it's not like cleaning off an ancient megalithic facade with a paintbrush on a nice sunny afternoon, in secret, unbeknownst to the world, just pushing away the dirt from a forgotten wonder of the world, just sat there with nobody knowing it's there. Just like covering it steadily over the afternoon, just kind of, carefully clearing away a bit of the undergrowth, working out, kind of just getting a feel for the thing, slowly working out what it is, what you're working with. It's it's a lovely activity. I highly recommend it. If you want to do it yourself, I'll tell you what I did, right? What you have to do, first of all, you have to go through a right trial, right? You have to find yourself a trial. You have to think you've got it made. Right, that's a big thing. You have to think you've got it made. You've got to have a perfect life. I had a perfect life, right? You've got to think you've got a perfect life. Everything's absolutely ping pong tiddly, right? Then you've got to have a massive, absolute, obviously, you think you've got a perfect life, you've got it coming, mate. So obviously you've got all your dreams. You've got to lose all your dreams. Okay, that's the first step of the process towards true becoming one's final form. Right, you got to lose everything. You got to go right down hard. You got to lose everything you thought you believed. You've got to lose it all. Right. If you want one afternoon to just find yourself on your own, brushing off the dirt off a wonder of the world containing an ancient king or something, right? So yeah, you got to lose it all, and then you've got to set out a wandering. You've got to set out a wandering with a heavy heart. You've got to travel around, and you've got to have these strange dreams, and you've got to slowly allow. You've got to be very alone. You've got to leave it all, and you've got to slowly develop a whole different kind of way of thinking. And you've got to start making those dreams within you take on a much stronger sense, right? A much stronger. You've got to really, so your dreams become your reality to a certain extent in the waking hours, because you're on your own. and you're up on the moor, you're up on the mountains, up on the hills where nobody's around. And occasionally you see somebody, and when they appear, it's like a curious kind of meeting where things are said, and it's all everything starts taking on a strangely intuitive, synchronistic feel. Right, that's what you got to do. I'm speaking seriously here. We're not doing no half measures, right? This is the reality of what's got me here, right? You've got to do that for a long while until you start feeling some kind of, and you start eventually becoming at home in that place, and you find a stillness and a happiness, and then you start feeling how the universe is slowly revolving. You start feeling things in a different way. Your senses, and you become very, very vivid. Right? You getting this? And then something will happen, and you'll find yourself following a thread, an unlikely thread. Something unbelievable, something that you don't believe really yourself, or in your rational mind you think, no, this can't be right. But something in you says, and because you've been alone long enough, you can sense, and you don't want to just rationalise your way out of it. You want to go, no, actually, I'm going to follow this, because this is what I do now. I follow these strange impulses, these strange creative artistic things. So you start following one of these impulses that is illogical, really. And then when things go wrong, instead of getting yourself in a tiz about it, you treat it as though it's something, an opportunity. You're being told something. Instead of when your car breaks down, instead of pulling your hair out and thinking, oh no, what am I going to do? You go, well, it's broken down. It seems I'm stopped here, for example. And carry on in that strange, weirding way, divining a strange path. And as you become attuned to that, yes, all of a sudden you'll start finding you're riding a wave. Something will happen and you'll begin riding the crest of a wave, and you don't quit. You don't take the sensible voice in your mind which is saying, oh, you've got to come back. You don't do that. You allow the strange to guide you. And eventually you walk down a hill, and you get a strange sense that you're exactly where you should be. And you think about digging a cave through a large boulder. And then the next day you walk a little bit further down, and you find that cave sitting there, just as you had imagined it, just as you had dreamed it decades before. And then you know you weren't being irrational. You were being in the right place at exactly the right time, in exactly the right frame of mind. Oh, no. There's many out there who'll say, oh, what a load of codswallop, it's all coincidence. But I freaking know it's not. I know it's not nowadays. I just know. I knew. Something was going on. I've been speaking about it all over last month to everybody you know. There's something going on. I've got video footage of it, the journey through it. I knew. And I can prove it. I knew there was something. I was coming towards the end. I was coming towards something big. And it's this. So, if you do that, you learn to use your nose in the right way. You yourself might find yourself with a paintbrush you bought to paint your van a year ago, left unused, using it instead to brush the dirt off an ancient, incredible tomb. with a mystery behind a portal, waiting to be discovered. Weird, isn't it? Weird, isn't it? Damnably weird. But it's flipping true. That's what's mad about it. So the wizard rises once again. Yes. May just be that I built this. I think perhaps I did. Past life. I think I maybe remembered it. I remembered that. You know. That threshold beneath that door. I knew that'd be there. I dug for it. I think I knew what this was the first moment I saw it. Aye. So I learn to use your nose. Don't listen to the naysayers. Ignore them. Create some meaning. And with that meaning, if you believe, with that meaning is no belief required. It's just a sensibility, a slow turning. Don't go believing. None of that business is required. It's the opposite. It's being in the moment, aware, just gently cruising, weaving through till you're balanced on the tip of the arrow. Pew.
Don't think. Feel. It is like a finger pointing away to the moon. Don't concentrate on the finger or you will miss all that heavenly glory.